If you're in your 20s or your 30s, then you need to hear this, because I am 52 years old and I am going to share with you today what I wish I knew when I was in my 20s. Because let's be honest, I've lived an extraordinary life for the most part, but if I had known then what I know now, I know my life would be a lot different today. I would have made some different decisions. Buckle up, I'm going to share with you these 5 things that I learned. So the first thing that you need to understand if you're in your 20s or your 30s is that now is the time that you need to take bold and creative risks. Right now in your 20s and your 30s, you have the energy and you have the stamina to go ahead and put forth the time and the effort to do these creative and bold things. Once you reach your 50s and you're 52, you realize that you just don't have that energy anymore, you don't have the stamina, and you just can't sustain taking these bold and creative risks. And so you want to make sure you do that now. Another thing it's going to do for you if you're in your 20s or your 30s is that if you take a bold and creative risk, you have to understand that it may not pay off. You may fail at it, you may fail at it miserably, but at least right now you have plenty of time to ride the wave and move on and do something else, because you have time to recover from it. You have plenty of years ahead of you, so you can just dust that off and move on to the next and bold and creative endeavor. Because if it pays off and you're successful at it, then that's going to help catapult your life forward, and it's going to open up a world of opportunities, and you still have the vigor and the energy and the excitement to go forth and try newfound, financial freedom and joy that you found in the other bold and creative risks. So do it now before it's too late. The next thing you have to realize that when you're in your 20s and your 30s is that you should be spending 80% of your time on things that are going to pay you compound benefits. And there's a couple of key things that I've learned throughout my life, because when you're in your 20s, you kind of want this instant gratification. I know that I was always chasing like the quick money, the quick wins. I always wanted things that was going to give me pleasure. Now, figuring I have plenty of time to do the boring stuff later, I want to do things that are fun and exciting now. But guess what? Now is the time that you want to do the boring things that are going to give you compound interest. And there's a couple of key things that I'll tell you need to focus on. Number one, you need to focus on developing good habits. Practicing good habits in your 20s and 30s is going to set you up for success, and no matter what it is that you decide to do, whether it's a career, a business, a personal endeavor, a creative endeavor, if you start now with the core basics on setting good habits, that's going to pay you dividends in the long run. The other thing that's going to help build dividends over the long term and is going to compound over time is that you have to pay attention to the relationships and the networks that you're building now. So many of us in our 20s were fixated on, just things that are going to give us pleasure and things that are having fun, and a lot of transactional friendships that at the time want to go to parties and these people are going to be able to do this for me. But what you don't realize is that you have to be a little bit more strategic and understand that your success is going to be defined by the 5 closest people to you. So when you're looking at your friends and your circle, make sure that you're identifying key people that are going to bring value to your life, that are pursuing something, that have gifts and talents and skills that you may not possess, but you'll be able to tap into later. And most importantly, you have to be careful of the relationships that you get into when it comes to your spouse. A good spouse can make you or break you. I've seen so many relationships shattered and people miserable in the relationships because they chose the wrong spouse, either because they got into it too quickly or they acted too much out of passion and desire or lust or whatever it is. So you have to be very careful with who you choose to get in relationships with. If you build the right team around you, then that's going to compound benefits over time. The other thing that's going to compound over time is your reputation. If you're young and you're starting out, then you have a little bit of time, in your early 20s to kind of feel things out and get your act together, but it doesn't take much time for your reputation to start spreading throughout the community. There's a lot of people that I work with today from relationships that I built over 30 years ago because my reputation is strong. They know that if I come to them, I'm going to come to them with something that's positive and it's going to add value to their lives. It's something that I think that they're going to enjoy, and they know that it's going to be a pleasure and a joy working with me, and I'm going to be about my business. And so the relationships that you build now will help determine the opportunities that are going to be available for you in the future. So make sure that you focus on that as well. The last thing that you would need to do, and going to give you compounding interest, is make sure that you dedicate a lot of time to learning and being curious. Just investigate different things. Go out, try new things, learn new things. Always stay on top of things, because the world is constantly changing, especially now. And if you're not staying on top of things, if you're not in the practice of learning, then your mind's going to go to mush over time and you're going to be stuck in some old ways. And right now, in 2025, It is not a time for you to be laxed on your learning. Everything is evolving at such a fast pace that you need to be on top of it. So spend 80% of your time doing these activities is going to give you the most return. Another thing I want to tell you that you need to do right now is that you have to understand that life is unfair. Yeah, I know it's hard to accept, but I see so many people get caught up in this and they get depressed and they get sad and they beat up on themselves because they're seeing other people achieve things. They're seeing other people given opportunities that they think that they deserve, or getting passed up for promotions, or they see other people's success and they're envious of it. You know what? Life doesn't owe you anything and nothing is guaranteed to you. So it's unfair. You're going to experience ups and downs. The only thing that is going to be guaranteed is that you are going to go through struggles. So many of us have lost loved ones in the past and we think it's unfair because they were good and kind people, and you question yourself and say, why did that person have to die? But the sooner you accept the fact that life is unfair, you'll understand that you'll just have to deal with the cards that you're dealt. And dealing with the cards that you're dealt, you can't get hung up on that. You can't beat yourself up over it. You can't be envious of somebody else. You can't watch what other people have. Just go ahead and focus on yourself and control the things that you can control. And that's going to bring us to the next topic, which is that your life is not a team sport. Your life is solely dependent on you. So the sooner you realize that nobody's going to come bail you out, nobody's going to be responsible for you, nobody even cares now that you're an adult what you do. You are accountable for yourself and you have to be responsible for your own actions. The sooner you realize that you have to put the mask on your own face in order to help others, the sooner you realize that you're going to take steps to go ahead and protect yourself, because ultimately what you want to do is you do want to be in a position where you're able to care for others and help others and be generous and giving, but you can't do that unless you put the mask on your face first. Until you secure your financial future, until you secure your professional environment, until you secure your family and your peace and your security, you're not able to help anybody else. They're not going to be looking out for you. Everybody else has their own peace, their own security, their own financial obligations that they have to worry about. And now that you're an adult, guess what? Everything is off the table. It's up to you to make it happen. So make sure that you take the steps that you need, protect yourself, secure your financial future, secure your peace and your comfort. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, this one may blow your mind. This is a bonus if you stay, but understand this. Once you master these other things that we spoke about earlier, nothing else really matters. All of the dreams, all your plans, your ambitions, things that you want, material things, flashy things, the fame, the fortune, the awards, none of that really matters, because none of that is promised to you. And the sooner you realize that the only things that you need to do are those things that I talked about earlier, you'll see that everything else is just going to come to you naturally. You'll get the positive relationship, you'll be in a loving environment, you'll be successful, you'll be able to live your passions, you'll have purpose, you'll have meaning, you'll be able to give back, you'll be an attribute to society, you'll be able to take care of yourself and your loved ones, you'll be able to take advantage of situations when they come to you. Situations are just going to come out of thin air because of your networks and your relationships that you built. So everything else, forget about. Worry about those other things that we spoke about earlier, and that's all you need to know. If this is something you're looking to do, if you're on a path for an extraordinary life, then make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. The link will be in the description down below. And in that, I'm going to share with you all the tools, tips, and resources that I learned along the way on living my extraordinary life. It's something I'm sure that's going to bless you. It's totally free, and it gets delivered straight to your inbox. And if you're somebody who's looking for more ideas on how to not waste your life, then I'm going to attach a video right up here. Make sure you click on that, and I'm going to see you in the next video. So in the next time, I'm your boy Paul. Take care.